students, this is Veena, Assistant Professor in the Department of English, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Today, we are going to discuss about the main characteristics and the importance of writing reports. How is that report writing is done and what is the significance of report writing? That is what is going to be discussed through this video. Report writing is one of the major entity which you all have to learn to make your professional career more and more better. It is always very important to present your reports with very good accuracy and quality. So there are certain characteristics, certain elements which you all have to follow while you are writing your reports when it comes to your business firms and on professional platform. So let us start to get to know about the ways of writing reports and their significance. Now, what is a report? A report is a methodological planned document, that is well planned document with all the relevant information, with the proofs and the evidences which will cater the need to portray the information to the other person. So you will be giving the report of all the events in a logical order such that it is made convinced and made addressed to that person that such events have occurred over a period of time. So you're going to present a report of the events that have been performed during the course. Now, the record of an order of events. What will the report contains of? What are the major characteristics? Point 1 is record of an order of events. You will be recording the order of the events in a sequential and logical manner such that when they are conveyed to the other person, the need of understanding the elements of that events is being pursued. So, the logical order of making the sequence ordering and reporting it to the other people is the main criteria we follow in the report writing. Now, what is the other thing what we do in report writing? Explanation of the implication of these events or facts. Now, first we will put forward the record of an order. Then, second point, explanation of the implication. Implication is the way it has happened of the events of the facts. In what way? Maybe it is in the chronological order, maybe it is in the order of day-wise or date-wise reports. The implication, the major important deeds of that particular report or the facts is being projected through your report. Then, evaluation of facts or results of research. How your research has been carried. What is the tool which you have used to evaluate your research entities, statistical analysis and the results that which has been obtained through your research. Everything is presented in a form of a report with the chronological order of description, research methodology, statistical analysis, then results, evaluations and the suggestions. So this is your report in a logical sequence explaining the implications, explaining with the evidences and the proofs and with the proper justifications. So this is where the report writing plays major role. As you are all going to pursue a research, as you are going to present your dissertations, thesis, articles, journals, this is the very important aspect in the way you have to formulate your report writing. Next, discussion of the consequences of the conclusion. Now, you will also discuss about the consequences of the conclusion. What made you to lead towards that conclusion? What are the elements which has made you move towards the conclusion? In that way, in the way of pursuing the elements in that order, in the way of pursuing the research in that entity, what are the perspectives which made you towards that conclusion, which made you lead or understand that proper conclusion by the end of your research. So in this way, you're going to put forward the elements in the logical order, in a sequencing order, such that the person whom you're going to convey it is very clear, identical and pictorial way. He can understand the elements portrayed in that report and justify it on the grounds of your conclusion. Then comes conclusions, how you are going to conclude it with the suggestions, with the information or any kind of statistical evidences. Then comes references. What are the references which you have used to make your research possible, to make your research successful? So these are all the elements which are very, very important while you are writing a report. It must be sequencing, it must be in the logical order, it must project all the evidences, proofs, whatever are related to it, and it must end up with the discussions of the evidences proved and with the proper conclusion. So that is where your report writing will look more authentic and also accurate. Now just have a look over this picture. Report writing process. What is the report writing process? What is its structure look like? First, formulates its objectives. Before you start any kind of research work, you have to frame an objective. This objective will pave a path towards your research process. It will make you understand the end in mind, that is the conclusion. What is that your assumption is leading towards? Is your assumption true? So you are going to formulate your objective such that your assumption, your hypothetical statement becomes true. So then, planning. After you formulate your objectives, plan. Plan the way you're going to conduct your research. What is the process? What is the step-by-step procedure of implementing that research work? Next, collection of information. Once you have selected your topic, after you have formulated your objective, after you have outlined the planning, that means where is that you're going to start, with what, how, in what way you're going to project your introduction, how is that you're going to showcase the literature review of that particular statement, and then the research methodology, then the way you're going to carry out the statistical analysis of the report, and then draw down the conclusion by the end. This is the planning, outline of the elements which we are going to talk about in our report. Then collection information. Then start collecting the information based on your planning. If there is some information must be collected through that research, try to collect the ways. In what way? Where is that you're going to find proper information which is completely relevant to it is more important. So draw down the collection of information with very good quality and also quantity. See that there is no quality without the quantity. That is, you should have both quality and quantity which will cater the information effectively and leads towards the proper research elements of your reports. Then comes organization of information. You have lot of entities where you can collect information which is very, very specific to your topic. But how is that you're going to project the information? In what way you're going to project that information which looks meaningful is more and more important. Organization, planning, organizing, these are the most important aspects which you all have to remember while carrying out your research work. So, organizing the information, just not clumsily putting all the information what you have gathered in your research is not at all qualified. It is that you have to organize that information according to the catering needs of your objectives and fulfilling the assumptions or the conclusions which you have kept in your mind. See that organizing of information done in a very ethical and in a very sequencing order. Next comes audience. Here it is very, very important. Audience, for whom you are going to write this report. Who is that person going to listen or to read your report? Keep the audience in your mind. Understand the knowledge or the sensibility of your audience. If you are going to present a report in front of your audience, try to understand their mindset. Try to understand which kind of audience you are going to address. Are they literates? Are they illiterates? Are they professional bodies? Are they officials? Just understand whom you are going to address. Is your research objective? Is your information what you are going to project that in that report writing is maybe applicable or maybe relevant to the audience whom you are going to address? See that. Keep in mind the level, the knowledge and the way the audience are going to read or going to understand your report while reading or while writing. So, always keep in mind the presence of the audience for whom you are writing this report or for whom you are going to read out this report. Next comes the structure. After making all the evaluation, framing, formulation, gathering the information in all the logical sequence, structure your report in a very logical, sequencing, informative, qualitative process. You have to make your report structure. Frame it in such a way it doesn't look clumsy, it doesn't look odd. It gives a vivid, clear picture of the report what you are about to present to your audience. So always keep all these points in your mind while writing a report or while presenting a report in front of others. Next, finishing. Give a proper conclusion. Always it is very, very important to end up with a qualitative conclusion, not a quantitative conclusion. It's not that how many paragraphs you are going to write about the conclusion. It is about the quality which is present in the conclusion, which addresses all the important specific information has covered in the report which you have presented before the audience. So all these elements, formulating objectives and then planning, collecting information, organizing information, understanding the audience, structuring your report and then giving a proper conclusion. This is the way you are going to structure your report writing. Now, what is that reports must always be? What is the major criteria? What are the major characteristics which must be integrated in your report writing? Point 1, correct. See that all the evidences which you provide in the report are correct, which are true. Don't project or give false evidences. Try to give correct and authentic evidence while you are presenting your report. Don't make false conclusions or don't give false introductions or don't say something which is not at all correct. See that you are specific and you are correct and you are giving the true evidences which are related to the information. Next, crisp. They must be crispy enough to attract the audience. See that there is that zeal, there is that enthusiasm which will attract your audience towards you when you are presenting that report or when they are reading your report. See that there is that crispiness which creates interest in your audience. Next, clear. Be clear of whatever you are saying. try to be having that confidence to project your report in a clear manner. Gain that confidence, have that confidence to project clear picture of the information what you are giving. For that, you should have the complete awareness about the information which you are projecting in front of your audience. Next, well structure. See that well-built structure is maintained in your report writing. What is that well-built structure? With proper objectives, planning, information, organizing information, understanding the audience, then projecting it in front of them and giving proper conclusion. Well-built structure must be contained in your report writing such that it grasps the attention of the audience and the need or the purpose for which you are doing the report will be catered. Next, here you see we have generally many kinds of reports. Let us see through this classification. Now we have oral reports and written reports. Oral reports are which we give in the meetings. In the professional presentations, we give oral reports that this is the thing, this is the thing. We give the evidential reports in a logical and chronological order in an oral format. That comes under the oral reports. Now, what are written reports? They are informal and formal reports. Again, written reports, we have formal and informal. Informal, where maybe we are giving some report or information to our friends or anyone whom we know well. But when it comes to formal, then it may be related to the business firms, related to the officials, related to any documental academics. All those stuff come under the formal report writing. Then under formal reports, then comes interpretive, then comes informative and routine reports. So these are all the kinds of classification of reports which we generally see. Now let us first talk about formal and informal reports. What is the difference? What are the ways? What are the characteristics which we have to remember when it comes to formal reports and when it comes to informal reports? Formal reports are meticulously structured, completely depends on the formal language, formal elegance, and the formal rules and regulations must be followed when you are structuring the formal reports. They focus on objectivity and organization. Every organization has its own rules and regulations. Each employee has to abide by the rules and the regulations of that particular organization. So see that all your report has the rules and regulations of that organization. See that you are structuring that report on the basis of that organization. Then contain deeper details. So we will try to give deep detailed report of the elements. Because it is formal, it is very, very important to evidentially prove our argument. For that, we have to give deep details of the things happened in your report. Next, the writer must write them in a style that eliminates factors like personal pronouns. What are personal pronouns? I, me, mine. No. We are not going to use any kind of personal pronouns. Here we are going to use completely the formal language and we are going to use authentic language which is prescribed by the rules and regulations of that particular organization. So be careful by formulating your reports when it comes to your profession. See that what kind of rules and regulations are under the organization, that which you have to integrate into your report process such that the audience or the official or the authority whom you are addressing the report will be conveyed in the manner of very pleasing and in a very pleasant manner. Next, informal reports are usually short messages with free-flowing casual use of language. When it comes to informal language, we just use casual, formal, simple language to address them, and it may be 1, 2 or 2 paragraphs. We are just trying to convey some information, not maybe on the deeper level, maybe on the superficial level. We are trying to convey some information which is maybe in an informal way and in a very simple language. We generally describe the internal report, memorandum, as an informal report. So internal, which is maybe done through oral thing, or maybe small statement of circular, we do it. So those are all comes under the internal reports, which we address as the informal reports. For example, a report among the peers. That is, if you are working under a team in an organization, if you are presenting a report to your higher official, it is a formal report. But if you are in the peer group of a team of 5 to 10 members and you have to tell them something which is informal, it is between you people, you are working on that project. So it can be an informal report. That means you are telling them about the events that happened, but not officially conveying it to the organization superficial person or superior person. So therefore here the report which is conveyed among your peer group may be an informal report, but that which you are going to convey or present in front of your superior, that will be a formal report. Next, informational and analytical reports. Now what are these informational and analytical reports? Informational reports are attendance reports, annual budget reports, monthly finance reports, and such. Now, what are informational reports? As we have seen in the examples, attendance reports. Why do we give attendance reports? To provide the information about the physical presence of a person or a thing, anything which is, that is attendance, providing information. Those are all called informational reports. Carry objective information from one area of an organization to be a larger system. So now, if your class teacher is going to give a report of attendance to your to her higher authority, that is maybe your principal or your head teacher, it is a informational report. That is, how many students are present in the class, how many are absent. Why is this report provided? To see the number, the statistical number of the presence of the students and try to mend ways such that all the students are present in the classroom. So these kind of reports give information such that we can take some action against correcting that proper statistical data or improving that data in terms of the requirement, whatever is needed in that purpose. Next, analytical reports. What are analytical reports? Scientific research reports, feasibility reports, and employee appraisal. What is these analytical reports? That which analyzes your creativity, your ideas in terms of scientific research, in terms of your appraisals. How is that we are going to analyze your appraisal? In what way? So you will show a substantial evidences will cater, which analyzes your growth in the organization such that your appraisal can happen. So all these kind of reports are called analytical reports. Now comes to periodic reports. What are these periodic reports? Periodic reports are sent out on regularly pre-scheduled dates. That is, for certain period, we are formulating a report and we are sending it. That is a monthly report, an academic report. They are sent periodically according to that prescribed period given to that person at some point of time. So periodically, after every month, for every 3 months, for an academic year, how is that you are going to present the statistics or the evidences of the projects you have carried out? Those are called periodic reports, which indicates a period of time of acquiring the evidence of the information in that particular substantial areas where in 2 or 3 or 4 months it has been carried out. Now, their direction is upward and serves as management control. It depends on how your organization want you to present the report. If your organization want you to present a report or every month, then that will be one kind of period. If it is for 3 months, then 6 months, it depends on the organization will and wish. How is that they are going to ask you for the report analysis? So depends on that, you will prepare a periodic report of 1 month or 3 months or 6 months or a year. Then that is why we have annual or quarterly or half yearly reports. So this is what is called periodic reports, where they are going to ask you about the information or the elements carried out within a period of time. Now, long reports and short reports. What are these reports? These kind of reports are quite clear, as the name suggests. The 2-page report, or sometimes referred as memorandum in short, and the 3rd-page report is absolutely long. Now, long reports and short reports. Short reports are which are 1-2 pages, and the long reports are which are more than 2 or 3 pages. How is that you are going to cater the needs of that documentation work which you are going to present it? If the data is very slow and if your content is low and the information on which you are going to carry it very small, then you can go for a short report. If you have to give an evidential report with deep analysis, in-depth analysis of that particular area or the topic or the instance carried out in that particular period, you are going to give a long report. So that is where you are going to differentiate among the long and the short reports. Then comes proposal reports. As the word mentioned, proposal. Research proposal, we say. Before you draft your thesis completion, you have to submit a research proposal to your guide. What is that proposal? You are going to inform or indicate them that I am going to carry out a research on so and so topic. My area of interest is this. These are the objectives which I am going to formulate and I am going to work on. These are the hypothetical statements which I have formulated to make my research fulfill the needs of what I am assuming to carry out. So you are going to propose a research report to your guide such that if he gives agreement for that, you can carry out your thesis. That is a proposal, asking for the permission. You are proposing the report such that you get the answer from the opposite person and you carry out that process. So proposals are lending your hand towards the other, asking for the permission in terms of carrying out that research. That is called your proposal reports. Then comes functional reports. What are these functional reports? These kinds of reports include marketing reports, financial reports, functional, that which carry out day to day, time to time, functional, always in the action, that which are happening always simultaneously every time. They are in the action format. Functional, that which moves on from one time to the other, and have changes. By and large, we can include almost all reports in almost these categories. Furthermore, we can include a single report in several kinds of reports, that is financial reports. For example, every day to day, you will have some or the other reports or statistical evidences to prove or to improve that financial reports. So they are functional, they will be moving, they are carrying out all the way with the actions every time. So these are all kinds of different reports where you have to understand the difference and also use them appropriately at that particular time. Now let us see report writing format. Till now we have understood what is report writing, what is the process of writing a report, and what kind of reports we come across in our day-to-day life, and what are the characteristics. Now we will try to understand what is the format of report writing. What is the format? What is the structure which you are going to use while you are formulating your report? First, following are the parts of a report format that is most common. 1. Executive summary, table of contents, introduction, body, conclusion, reference, and appendix. Now, when it comes to executive summaries, highlights of the main report, maybe your abstract, In the other form, you can just say that your research abstract. That is, what are the main things which you are going to focus on your research, and what is the methodology you are going to fulfill it. What are your objectives which you have formulated to execute your research. That is your executive summary, which is also called as your abstract of the research. That is first thing which you have to formulate while starting your report writing. Then comes table of contents. Make a list of the contents which you are going to include in the report. Table of contents. 1. This is going to happen. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make the list of the contents which you are going to address in that particular report. Next, introduction. How is that you are going to project the main idea in your introduction? Its origin, its essential characteristics, its essence of your research. All the important elements, you will be including them in your introduction. Next, body. What is the main part? The main core information for which you have taken up the research. In what way you are going to get access to the information, how you got access, in what way you are going to project or formulate the evidences, and how is that you are going to carry out the research. The organization of all the elements which are to be included in the research work are placed in the main body. Then conclusion, inferences. With the evidence, with the proofs, with the result, you are going to conclude, giving them the inferences, reference, and the measures which have to be taken with all the suggestions needed for your research work. Then comes references. You should give the references from which you have got the information, which books you have referred, or which person has given you. So you have to be able to mention the place, time, where you are going, you have acquired that information from, and which editorial or which publication, anything. All the references must be made very, very clear in your conclusion. Then comes your appendix. Add all the important documents through which you have carried out the research, or the tool of your research can be added in your appendix. So this is the format of your research report. Now, what are the things which you are going to include in your table of contents? The report should begin with table of contents. This explains audience, author, and basic purpose of the attached report. Your intent, the titles, the table of contents will show what you have placed inside your report and how is that they are going to cater to the information which is evidential there in your research. Then introduction. What is that you are going to introduce? The main points which are going to be covered. What is the characteristic of your research? What is the essence of your research? And how is that you have got created interest in it? And what are the objectives which you are going to use to fulfill your research? Then comes your body. The body has all the problems description and the ways you are going to tackle them, and the tools, the subheadings, whatever are formulated to address your problem, and also the research methodology and the statistical evidence carried out, and the process, research tool, the way the result is acquired, everything comes under your body. Then comes your conclusion, which is also very, very important. Every report writing or any research article, any thesis must be concluded efficiently and effectively with qualitative note, on a qualitative note. How is it can be done? At the end of the main body lies the tying of ends together. That is, you will be summarizing all the main objectives or the main ideas which have been spoken in the last body or the introduction, and your conclusion will explain all the entities which are described in the body, and also it will intercept or analyze the results and also give proper suggestions for all the elements which have to be covered under your report. So remember, all these stages are very, very helpful to you when it comes to your research proposals, research formats, research works, and research thesis. Remember all these headings, subheadings, and the format as you are going to carry out the thesis work in your coming semesters. So remember how you are going to carry out your report work, proposals, and also present your thesis according to this way of presentation. Then how is that you are going to give your references? If you use the sources of information to help write your report, such as government database, you would include all the references with date, with publication, with name, year. Everything must be provided in your reference such that the person from whom you have taken will not feel offended for your references. So you have to quote that reference from where you have taken the citation or the reference, or quoting any kind of sentences from anywhere, any book, you have to mention them in your references point of view. Next comes the appendix. Appendix, lastly, although this one is not necessary, more like optional element. You will be adding those documents like questionnaire. If you have carried out a experiment through a questionnaire, you can put that questionnaire, add it in the appendix to show that you have used this document. So it is not important, but you can use it. It is an additional source for your report writing. So then, what is the best process for report writing? Till now, we understood what is report writing, what is the process, types of report writing, the format. Now, what is the best process of report writing? Bring up an effective report. The right process must be followed. Here are 7 steps which will help you in making your report very effective, authentic, qualitative, as well as quantitative. Let us see them. First point. Decide the objective. Always decide your objective. What is your main objective? Clearly mention your objective of research. Why? For what purpose you are going to carry out that research? What is your main criteria in conducting this research? So you have to formulate an objective to address the research. So your first point, the best process of report writing, first point which includes is always formulate, decide your objective before you present your report. Next, understand your audience. As we have already discussed, try to have a note of the audience who you are going to address, in front of whom you are going to present the report. Who is that going to read your report? Understand them well. Is that the audience literate people or illiterate people? Are they professional bodies or the authoritative bodies or the official bodies? Try to understand which kind of session of people you are going to address and who are your audience. Based on that, you have to formulate your report writing. Next, report format and types. Always follow proper format and which type of report you are going to write it. Understand the difference. Are you going to provide an informational report or the experimental report or a personal report or an official report? Understand the difference and format the report according to its requirements, according to the rules and regulations of that particular organization. Next comes collects the facts and data. Always collects the facts and the data with all the relevant evidences, all the proofs. Your collection of data will have to portray the true details of the information which you are going to project in front of your audience. Next comes structure the report. This is the main important thing which you all have to understand and remember forever, because on the professional platform where you are going to work with, you must use proper structures and formats while presenting any kind of report or a speech or a presentation, anything. Try to format proper structure and formats while you are doing your presentation. This will not only make you good in your communication skills, but also helps you in developing your language skills as well as your relations with the others. Now, a report typically has 4 elements. What are those? Executive summary, introduction, body, conclusion. We have already discussed. This is the abstract. That is on what you are going to talk or say or present. You are going to give a small gist, including the methodology, the process which you are going to carry out in that particular research work. Then introduce, then present the proper body of information which they have to know, and then conclude it with all the relevant information. Then here we go with some tips for report writing. What are the tips? Title. See that your title is clear. And the introduction is about 3 to 5 paragraphs. An introduction. Introduce the problem. What are the things you are going to include in your introduction? Introduce the problem and describe why it is interesting. Then summarize what's known about the problem, what you have already know, and what is that you are looking for to complete that information. Then summarizes your approach, in what way you are going to carry out the research. Then methods. Explain your methods. Research method, research tools, the reliability, the liability, the validity, the statistical techniques you are going to use, the process of your questionnaire or the process of your case study. All the methods, see that they are presented in a very effective and relevant way such that everyone clearly understands your methods and try to understand and create that interest in reading your report writing. Then use bold subheadings when you are using your methods, and try to use subheadings, bold subheadings, try to use graphs, charts, tables, and use all those figures which will make your method very effective and also appealing towards your listeners or the readers who are reading your report. Then comes the results, presentation of results. What are the things which are very, very important? Organize your results in a logical, coherent manner. See that you're going to present your result in a very logical manner such that it shows that yes, it is true. All the methods which have been carried out has been come out giving the result of this analysis in this logical order. So the order does not have to be order in which the experiments is carried out. It must be in the way of collecting the information, carrying out the experimentation, and also the way of acquiring or addressing the result to the audience is more important. So in that way you are going to make your reports more authentic, specific, brief, and finally you will be doing the discussion. What is the discussion? About the results, putting them in the context to what known before your study. What is the discussion after the report is done? So your discussion is what is that you thought of about that research in the beginning, and what is the evidence or the conclusion you have acquired after the experimentation. The relation between the research before work and research after work. So try to make that gap, fill that gap with the discussion, presenting your suggestion or your ability to convince the reader about the result analysis that has happened. Sometimes what we assumed may not be true. It may be false. It may be proved false. Now, how is that you are going to fill that gap of making your audience understand that what I thought I could not achieve, it has turned out into the other answer. So all these things you must be able to convince your readers while you are presenting your discussions in the report writing. Next, references. As we have already discussed, references are very, very important things. See, I have given here one example. In response to death stimuli, uticulation of DIAP is enhanced by interaction with Reaper. This has been quoted from this place, from Martin 2002, Palaga as upon 2002. So this from where they have taken this sentence, they have quoted in the bracket. In that way, you are going to show your citations or the reference which you have taken from somewhere. Then the final comments. Remember, this is a research report, not a grand proposal or a grand progress report. You have to make a final comment either with the suggestion or the views, what you have thought and overall goals of your acquisition of that result, and were you able to achieve what you have thought in the introduction. Was it true or not? If it is true, fine, put forth the suggestions what you feel like. If it is false, try to give such suggestions such that others who take up the project will understand what are the possible things, means which they can make it possible come true in the end of their report writing. So these are all the ways. This is the format where you have to follow in your report writing, such that your professional reports will become authentic, qualitative and also appealing towards your readers or your audience. So try to utilize this and try to form proper reports while your presentations. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.